Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Blonis. I'm the Philanthropy Associate here at the Pittsburgh Foundation in the Center for Philanthropy, and I oversee and manage Critical Needs Alert. So for those of you who are new, nice to meet you all virtually. And for those of you who have been to our webinars before, it's good to see you again. I'm joined today by Josh Bed, who's our representative who I work with from Neon One. Neon One is the vendor that we work with to put together the Pittsburgh Gives website for Critical Needs Alert. And she'll really be the star of the show today, helping us to learn about peer-to-peer fundraising and how you use that through the site and how you can use that for critical needs to really help engage with your donors and maximize giving. So we'll get started. So here's the agenda. We'll talk about peer-to-peer fundraising, why it's important, talk about how as nonprofits you can set them up, these fundraisers on your profiles, how fundraisers or your donors can become fundraisers and set up their own on the site. We'll go through some additional resources and I'll preview some important dates and we'll open it up for Q&A. Before we get started though, just want to let everyone know, we will be recording this webinar and we'll be posting it to the Pittsburgh Foundation's YouTube channel. So if you have to step out or one of your colleagues was unable to join us, they will be able to access it later. We should hopefully have that up really quickly. Additionally, if you want to go off camera, please feel free to do so. We also ask that everyone stays on mute throughout the webinar. And if you have questions, to throw those in the chat. At the end for Q&A, I will read out questions. And if I can't answer them, throw them over to Josh Bed to help answer those questions so that we can get through all of them. And yeah, just in case, if you have any technical questions, definitely direct message Emily McGill in the chat and she should be able to help you out. All right, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Josh Bed.
Thanks, Katie. Yes, as Katie said, I am a project manager for Neon One Giving Days and more specifically for Pittsburgh Gives. And so I'm excited to talk to you guys today a little bit about peer-to-peer or P2P fundraising. So P2P fundraising is a great way for you and your supporters to expand your networks and gather more online donations for Pittsburgh Gives and for your nonprofits. They are created, managed, and edited via the Neon One platform. So for any of you that participated in a Neon One supported Giving Day in the past, that's a change from the past 2 years. It used to be that the P2P fundraising pages were on a platform called Raise. The feedback that we received from the nonprofits and from the hosts was that Raise was a little bit more difficult to navigate. It required a separate login. And so the feedback that we were getting was that it was more complicated and raising more questions than it was answering. So we took on that feedback as Neon One, and we went back to an older system, which has the P2P fundraising pages directly on our platform. So we made some improvements to that to get it sort of up to the Raise standards while also simplifying and integrating the process. So we hope that the feedback that we're getting this year after this change is that it's simplifying the process and that you guys all have a lot less questions from your supporters as they go through this process. So for the purpose of this presentation, we'll look at the peer-to-peer fundraising process, both from the nonprofit and the fundraiser or supporter perspective. So we will begin by looking at the nonprofit perspective. Okay, so as I said, these all live on the Neon One platform now. So you'll begin by navigating to pittsburghgives.org and logging into as a nonprofit using the email and password credentials that you use to register. Logging in will take you to your Neon One dashboard. You've probably been using your dashboard already, but in case you're unfamiliar, your dashboard is sort of a one-stop shop where you can look at and update your public profile. You can look at the donations that are made to your nonprofit. You can manage the users on your profile, so your colleagues that are receiving emails and are part of the contact list. And for the purposes of this presentation, you have the My Fundraisers tab, which you'll click on to access the P2P fundraising pages associated with your nonprofit. So yeah, under the My Fundraisers tab, as I said, you'll see a list of the published P2P fundraising pages. That is the default. There is a way to see P2P pages that were created for your nonprofit but have expired or were created in previous years. Each year, the P2P pages are removed from the site, are inactivated, but they still live in the system. So if you want to recall an older page and reactivate it, edit it, and make it live for this year, that's also an option. But the easiest way, the default is to show all the published P2P pages. So from this page, you as the nonprofit user would click on Create Fundraiser on the top right to create a new P2P fundraising page. So clicking that will take you to this editing page. It'll open a new tab with the peer-to-peer fundraising editing page. So again, much simpler than the Raise platform. There's no separate login. You're already logged in, you're already in. Here is where you will edit your page. So you'll add the fundraising title, you'll put in a custom URL, you'll set a financial goal. You have the option to update an image and provide a compelling fundraising story. The first three fields are required, and there is no option to save and come back later. So, but there is an option to edit later. So get in as much information as you can. And if you need to go back and edit those afterwards, you always have the option to do that. So once you're done uploading all the information needed for the fundraising page, it's as simple as clicking Save Fundraiser to publish. Once that's clicked, you'll receive an email that looks like the one here that says that your fundraising page has been published. There is a note in the email that it can take up to 2 hours for the fundraising page to be published. In practicality, we're seeing that it's pretty much instantaneous, but that's the maximum that you would have to wait, is that 2 hours. So if you don't see it immediately, wait the 2 hours before you contact support. So yes, you'll receive that email saying that you have created a fundraising page. And so the easiest thing to do then is then to just copy that direct link in there and start sharing. A fundraiser page is not successful if it's not shared often and widely. So we encourage everyone to share them via email to your friends and family or directly on social media. And it's as simple as that for creating a fundraising page as a nonprofit. Next, we'll look at how you manage your fundraising pages, so viewing and editing those. This system is also quite simple. So again, you would go to the Pittsburgh Gives site and log in as your nonprofit profile. As the same with creating, it'll take you directly to your dashboard and you click on that My Fundraiser tab. From there, you can click this blue View Public page, and that will take you directly to that custom URL link, the live page that you would find through the pittsburghgives.org site. In addition to that, if you click the 3 dots all the way on the right of each fundraising page entry, you have the option as the nonprofit to edit your fundraising pages, copy, which would just create a duplicate and open another editing page with an exact duplicate of an existing fundraising page, which you can then edit and then publish as an additional fundraising page. You also have the option to deactivate any fundraising pages that are associated with your nonprofit. So we don't recommend doing that without first reaching out to the person that created the fundraising page, but you as the nonprofit reserve the right to deactivate any pages that you deem inappropriate. In addition, you can view donations made through any page that is associated with your nonprofit organization. And Again, yeah, it's as simple as that in terms of editing and managing your fundraising pages. This is just a deeper look into what page you'll see if you click edit or copy your fundraising page. Again, it will reopen that editing tool page where you can then make changes to the fundraising title, to the image, to the goal, the financial goal, or your story. We recommend leaving the custom URL unless absolutely necessary to make changes to that. Okay, so that's for the nonprofit side. Next, we'll look at the process for your supporters. So for the supporters, they also will start by navigating to the pittsburghgives.org site. Oh, sorry. Yes, a fundraiser, as you all know, is an advocate for your nonprofit organization. These are great assets in garnering more financial support and more donations, as they have a different network than you do. They're your biggest fans and supporters, so it's important to give them the opportunity to get the word out on their networks and share widely that they are participating in Pittsburgh Gives this year, and that more specifically, they will be supporting your nonprofit. Okay, sorry. So now we navigate to the pittsburghgives.org site, and they search for the nonprofit. So they can either do that in the search bar that is on the top right of the homepage, or they can browse nonprofits and search that way. Once they find the nonprofit that they want to support, they would click into the nonprofit's profile page, and there will be a fundraise button on the top right that they'll click. Clicking that fundraise button will take them to a page where they'll need to log in. If they have an existing donor account, they'll log in with their email and password as usual. If they do not, they'll have to create a profile. So they'll click create a profile, and it's very simple. It's just first name, last name, email address, and they'll set a password for themselves. If you have a donor or fundraiser supporter who is not sure whether they have an account or not, they can just click forgot password, enter their email address, and it will send them a link to reset their password if they already have an account with Pittsburgh Gives. Once they have created their profile account, they will be taken to the same editing page. So as you can see, it looks the same for the supporters as it does for the nonprofits. So that will make it easier if they have questions about what fields are required. It's the same as the fields that are required for nonprofits. So the fundraiser title, they'll enter their custom URL. They'll set a financial goal for the fundraising page. They can upload a logo or image, and they have a space again to tell their story about why they're supporting your nonprofit. When they're all done, they'll click Save Fundraiser to publish. When a page is published by a supporter, 2 emails are sent out. So the supporter will get an email just as you did as a nonprofit saying that their page has been published and it will include that link so that they can already start sharing it with their networks. The second email will be an email sent to you as the nonprofit user that lets you know that a new page has been made linked to your nonprofit. So it'll make it easier to manage. You can also, even if you're not following those emails, of course, you can also see the list of fundraising pages that were created for your nonprofit in your dashboard, as I said, if you log in. So very quickly also, managing a fundraising page for a supporter, they again would log in to the pittsburghgives.org site, log into their donor account. Once they're logged in, it'll take them back to the home page. They'll click at the top right, they'll click on their name. It's next to the log out button. They'll click on their name and that'll take them to their donor account. From there, they can look at their account details. They can look at the donations that they've made in the past. They can look at any of their saved payment profiles. So if they have a credit card on file, they can look at any nonprofits that they've favorited. And for the purposes of this presentation, they can click on the My Fundraisers tab to see a list of the fundraising pages that they've created. So from that My Fundraisers tab, again, they have the option to view their public page. So if they click view, it'll take them right to that direct link that they receive in the email. They also have the option to edit. So at any point they can make changes to their fundraising page. And then if they click the cog all the way to the right, they have the same options of copying the fundraisers, so making a duplicate of their page, which they can then edit and publish as a separate page. They can deactivate any pages that they've created, and they can view any donations that have been made through the fundraising pages that they have set up. And so that's the process for supporters. And again, we encourage everyone to share their fundraising pages early, often, widely, to distribute it and to encourage their friends and families to support the nonprofits that they're passionate about. So that's it for the.
Thank you, Josh. Really appreciate that. Just going to touch briefly. So that was a lot really fast, but hopefully it makes sense for all of you. Really excited about the changes this year. It does make things a lot simpler in terms of managing and creating fundraisers, since it's all sort of in a space that you're already in because you've gone into that dashboard to go update your profiles. So hopefully that's helpful to you. But here are some additional resources if you are struggling with this a bit and need some help. So first and foremost, Neon One does provide a support team, and there's a support button. If you're on the website, it should be down in the left-hand or right-hand corner, excuse me. And you can hit support, and it sort of functions like you chat. So you put in a ticket, and it usually takes within about 24 hours, you'll get a response. So the Neon support team is really great, and that's another option for you to get some technical support outside of us at the Pittsburgh Foundation. Of course, we're always happy to talk to you and see if we can walk you through stuff. And usually if there's anything that we can answer, they're the ones we're reaching out to for support, especially when it comes to some tech stuff. So yeah, you'll just hit that and click send, and that will get you going with support for that. There are also some resources available to you. So you have access through your profiles to the Support Center for Nonprofit Organizations. So there's guides and links that'll help walk you through it a bit further. And we'll make sure that you have these links as well after this, so you can access them and read it through. So it should provide more step-by-step instructions for you in addition to this. If there's anything that you can't remember from this or that you're stuck on. So those are some really great links, how-tos. I've read them. They're pretty readable and digestible. So they're really helpful. Let's see. And we'll also have supports and guides for funders or your donors and your supporters. So if you have folks that you're working with, like example, for your board, and you want to get them involved and have them create fundraisers, we'll make sure that you have access to these, and that will help them walk them through the process. And that is it in terms of the presentation. This one's a pretty quick one. And actually the changes that have been made this year have made it even quicker since it's a lot more streamlined and integrated. I will just say, for those of you who are new to using this, it may be helpful, especially if you want to use it as a tool to engage folks a bit more. We talked in our last webinar regarding social media and promoting your organization for critical needs through social media platforms. A good way to sort of try this out and test it would be to go in and, as an organization, create a fundraiser, a peer-to-peer fundraising. And you can share that link with your board members, because that link is pretty easy to just copy paste into an email. And you can ask them to then share that link on their social media accounts as a way to sort of try that out. And it's also it does work if you're low in capacity and you're busy, everyone's really busy, and you're not as familiar also with posting as social media. It really helps to leverage your board members and their technical skills and their networks as a start before you dive deep into it. So just a thought and a recommendation if you're new to this. So I'm going to stop there and open it up for any questions. Again, please feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll read them out. And if I can't answer, which I might not be able to, I'll throw it over to Josh Bed and she can answer them. So just prepping you all, there might be some awkward silences for a few moments, but otherwise, get going. All right. Give you all a few moments, gather your thoughts. All right. Mackenzie Williams, when do you suggest we begin advertising in full swing? So I would say since we're now just under a month out, I would say now is as good a time as any. So I would suggest for the next 2 to 3 weeks, if you send something out once a week, whatever that looks like at the very least would be a good way. But I definitely think now. So I will say the Pittsburgh Foundation, we just started our promotion plan for critical needs within the last week. So for the next month or so, we'll be doing a big ramp up, and whether it's TV advertisements, online, social media, emails, we'll be letting our folks know about it as well. So that's helpful as a guide. I would say, yeah, as soon as possible. And then within 1 to 2 weeks of August 9th, if you don't have the ability to do the full month, within those 2 weeks, I would really push it out, especially if you want to use some of this peer-to-peer fundraising. That's probably a good time because it gives folks the opportunity and the time to get set up and learn about it and then send it out to folks that they know as well. So that would be my recommendation. I hope that's helpful. All right. I'm going to quickly stop sharing with folks on my screen. And I wanted to ask if it would be helpful to folks, please you can use the thumbs up reaction to indicate if you'd like this. If you would find it helpful, if Josh Bed were to walk us through a live demo of setting up a fundraiser through the Neon One, through your profiles, I should say. Thumbs ups from anyone, or you can put it in the chat. Yes, no, maybe so. Thumbs ups. All right. All right, I'm seeing quite a few. So Josh, but if you wouldn't mind, since we do have the time, since that presentation was really quick, walking everyone through how to do that and what that looks like in real time.
Sure, yeah, happily. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and that's the way we go. Okay, so this is the Pittsburgh Gives homepage. So we can walk through first as a nonprofit. So as a nonprofit, you would go to your nonprofit login here. And you would log in as a returning organization. Sorry, I'm already logged in just so that you guys wouldn't have to watch me stumble around with my password. So this is what your dashboard would look like. I'm in a test organization just so that it looks as similar as possible to what you will see. So here you'll see your important dates. and your public profile. And here's the tab that we were looking at, My Fundraiser. So this is a list of, this here normally would be a list of all the fundraising pages that are created. I had a few test ones earlier. You can see them if I click that fundraising status drop-down menu and show all. You can see that we've had actually quite a few test P2P pages created for this test organization that we have on Pittsburgh Gives. If, for example, you wanted to revive a deactivated, you would go to the 3 dots on the page that you want. It's not letting, oh, sorry, I know why it's not letting me. It's not letting me because my test organization is deactivated. But here is where you would go to create a fundraiser, and it would take you to that editing fundraising page. If I was a donor, it would sort of look like this. I would be on the Pittsburgh Gives site. I would, let me log out and you guys can go as a donor. And now I'm logged in as a donor, and then I would click my name to go and see all the fundraisers that I already have. Again, this was a test that I was working on earlier. I've deactivated it, but this is where the donors would go to see their the pages that they've created. If they haven't created a page yet, they would look for a nonprofit and they would click that fundraise button. If they were not logged in, they would have to log in, as I already did. And here's what that editing page looks like. So they would include a title here, a custom URL, set a goal. They can update with an image, generic one, just so you can see, they'll see it instantaneously that the page has changed. This is exactly what you would see also as a nonprofit. Share their story there, and then click Save Fundraiser to create a fundraiser. Here they would also see the donations that are made. So typically the donations, it would show the amount and then just very basic location information. So usually the city and the state of where the donation is coming from. Is there anything in particular that I should show on this?
That's real helpful. I don't have any other things to add. I will wait a moment, just let folks, again, anything particularly want to see, just throw it in the chat and we will make sure that we cover that. Otherwise, this might actually be one of the fastest webinars we've ever had here at the foundation. So we'll see how we do. Well, all right, everyone. I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I think this is officially the quickest webinar we've ever had at the Pittsburgh Foundation. So I can give you all back 30 minutes. If you do have any questions following this, if you're trying to set up a fundraiser and are hitting some stumbling blocks or have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And like I said, if I can't answer it or our team can't answer it, the folks at Neon One definitely can. We can make sure to get you set up so that it's running smoothly for the day of. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a great day.